Paul, I think tomorrow's game is probably one of the first fixtures that a lot of the fans would have looked out for when it first came out. How much are you looking forward to it as well?
It's a great game, isn't it? I think, again, no different than a lot of modern day football games. I think we'll see two teams just trying to win a football game, and it normally makes for a really good spectacle.
There's going to be over 3,000 away fans there as well, so it should be a fantastic atmosphere.
Oh, looking forward to it. I think the lads are fully aware of, our travelling support. I think, whereas we felt we've made a good start to the season, I think the last two games, especially in terms of performance, have probably been a little bit disappointing, to say the least. And as we're getting players back to fitness, and there's, as I say, two lads making the debut last week and a few little changes, we're going to be ring rusty at times, of course we are. We always speak about when teams are a little bit ahead of you. We're not on about individual players or talent, or we're just on about, coached together, played together. My big thing on a pitch is partnerships. I love partnerships developing. We're still seeing lads play together for the first time, and we'll see that again tomorrow. And I look at Doncaster, and with all due respect to Grant and his staff over there, they put together a really good side. Really well coached, good team, good players, good work ethic, a really, really challenging game for us tomorrow, but one I'm very, very much looking forward to.
Yeah, in terms of that gelling process then, do you feel like you're making good, steady progress?
Until we play more games, Liam, we can't make progress. We're going to have probably 2 debutants again tomorrow, which after 8, 9, 10 games of a season, we must be the only team in the country at the minute who keeps getting debutants. So the partnerships will take time to grow. What I don't doubt is the calibre of player we possess at the club. Without a shadow of a doubt, we've got good players. We're just tinkering now with how teams are stopping us playing and stuff like that, which all managers and coaches go through. Our pursuit is to put a team on the pitch now that this club can be proud of. And our supporters can travel away from home, not like we did at Port Vale, where that's a no-show. That's not good enough. That's not a performance of a team. But a team where your supporters clap you off at the end of the pitch because what they viewed is plenty good enough for them to pay the money to travel.
Did you anticipate this sort of gelling process at the start of the season?
Probably not. I think probably a lot of it come on the back of us winning 5-0 at Crewe. I think then all of a sudden we'd won the league after winning a Crewe, because you've won the league after 4 games, haven't you? That's it. It's great football. 2 games later, we're awful. It's football. It's a great game that we're all involved in. Probably Crewe walked onto us that day. Probably were a little bit made for us that day, and everything went our way. Unfortunately, the last 2 games since, we've seen 2 different styles of teams. Both teams on the day, totally different. But for us, I'm all into our performance. How do we play? What are we going to bring to the party? And certainly in the last 2 games, it's been disappointing.
Yeah, can you put your finger on why that might have been?
Yeah, and I'm not telling you, and I'm not telling Grant McCann. So there you go. Grant can do the maths, and he'll see about 3:30 tomorrow. He'll know what I'm on about.
Fair enough. Just in terms of Doncaster then, I suspect you've seen lots of them. What do you make of them?
I just really like them. I like the way Grant's gone about it. I like the way the club have gone about it with Grant. I like the way they brought players in. I like the way they took time to gel. Finished like a train last season. We're very unlucky in the playoffs. They had obviously after winning that Crewe, and I was at the game, then to come at home and not go through would have been really disappointing for them. But it's no different than us losing at Wembley to Notts County. I always think you grow and you get stronger. And I certainly think Doncaster are growing and getting stronger. If someone said to me now you could finish above Doncaster this season, I wouldn't play another game of football. I like them that much.
You've come up against some physical sides in the last few weeks. Do you think tomorrow might be more of a footballing game?
All games are physical games. Every game's a physical game. All the best footballing teams are the most physical. But they just hit you in different ways. They run harder, they pass quicker, they do things much better and much quicker and much faster. For us, like I said, when you come into the league, it's always new. For me, it's brand new. I haven't seen League 2 football for a long time. So we're now going into games where every game's a little bit different. Teams are very well coached now. There's no secrets in football. Everyone has a different way of trying to win. Within that, it's up to you to adapt to make sure you win. What I do see in Doncaster is a very well-balanced team. I see a good squad. I watched them Tuesday night against Man United, where Grant utilised the squad depth, and they had a lot of good players on view on Tuesday night. I see a team with a real identity, a style of play. And I really like them. I do. I just really like them. And I think tomorrow will be a really good football game, yeah.
Just in terms of squad news, is there any further update on Will Grigg? I know you said he might be in contention.
Listen,
he might not.
Again, I think as you think, we've got to be really careful with our squad now. You know, this is where supporters, and I always ask our supporters to trust me. You know, we've got to make sure. Ryan Colclough come on sub last week. We're now going into a 3-game week where I think Ryan's only played 2 games for this club since last Christmas. And Ryan Colclough is a massive asset to us. Griggy's been out for a couple of weeks. Paddy Madden's back involved. And we've got to be careful with Paddy. What we can't do now is start making mad decisions after waiting a long time for players. So my world is always to put up with a little bit of pain, whatever that looks like, in pursuit of getting better and stronger. So Griggy will be available tomorrow. Yeah, Ryan's available tomorrow. Paddy's available tomorrow. And obviously we're trying to look at what we haven't been doing so well. We're going into a big 3-game week. And our squad will be fully utilised over the next 7 days.
And have you had another good week on the training ground then? Because I think that's 3 weeks now, isn't it, without a midweek game? And like you say, they are coming up thick and fast now.
Yeah, well, we haven't had many good results on a Saturday for a few weeks, so the training ground doesn't seem the place to be, does it? I think the important thing for us is we know what we're walking into tomorrow at Doncaster. I think that's really important. No different than any other team. Doncaster have had the same as every other team gets, the utmost respect. We know that they've got good players. But I think what we'd like to think, Grant's sitting in his office now preparing for us, knowing that we will carry a threat tomorrow, and I want our supporters to see that threat.